Have you ever thought about how trust, like real community trust, can be twisted, especially when money gets involved? Today we're doing a deep dive into a story that really hits this home. Ghazala Din, sometimes called the disappearing investor scammer.
That's right. And our goal here is to sort of unpack how someone seen as so trustworthy could just vanish, leaving behind financial chaos, sure, but also broken relationships. We're drawing on some detailed accounts of what she did and the impact it had.
Okay, so Ghazala Din, in Birmingham, around Alum Rock, Washwood Heath, she was seen as, well, trustworthy, even pious, but also a sharp, successful businesswoman. How did you manage to build that specific image, enough to make people bypass, basic financial checks?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? It seems her persona, this blend of piety and business sense, was key, plus the promise. She talked about lucrative property investments, offered impressive monthly returns, and apparently her phone was always buzzing. You
Yes.
can imagine how that sense of constant activity, of opportunity would pull people in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the method itself, it's almost disturbingly simple. No paperwork, no contracts, just trust. That was it.
That was it. She apparently had this reassuring line, something like, oh, too much paperwork just slows things down.
Hmm.
So people handed over thousands, often in cash or bank transfers, all based on trust and the idea of this booming property market.
Wow, just trust. It's exploiting that very human element, isn't it?
Absolutely. But she wasn't entirely alone in building this trust, it seems. Sources mention a circle, friends, associates, maybe even accomplices. These people would vouch for her, saying things like, she's honest, or real gem, or it's working for us, join now.
Right, the social proof angle. And some of them got paid for bringing people in,
Mhm.
like finder's fees.
Exactly. Which, turns people into recruiters, whether they fully realize what was happening or not. It spreads the net wider.
And the really insidious part, for a while it seemed to work.
Uh-huh. That's crucial. For the first few months, people got payments, regular returns came in, just enough to build that confidence, just enough for people to think, okay, this is real, and maybe invest more.
The classic hook. Set it, make it look good then.
Then the payments stopped.
Yeah.
Just stopped. And the excuses started rolling in. Ghazala wasn't, well, she was supposedly in hospital. Her accounts were blocked. But always with that promise, it'll be sorted soon.
That slow fade
Yeah,
keeps people hanging on, right? Delaying the panic.
precisely. But eventually the excuses dried up too. She stopped replying entirely, ignored texts, calls, silence,
Goes to them.
totally ghosted. And that's when the whispers must have started turning into real fear. People realizing, wait a minute, there was no paperwork, no proof, no actual properties they could see.
And then she was gone. By December 2021, Ghazala Din had, well, vanished from the scene.
Vanished, yes. Though there were rumors she hadn't completely disappeared, that she'd maybe left the area, but still operated through her network. Get this. Her friends, the ones who vouched for her, apparently kept pulling people in for a while.
Using the same lines, like, oh, it was working fine before you joined.
Exactly, that kind of thing. Before they, too, often faded away, it just compounded the betrayal.
It's devastating. And when you look at the impact, it goes so far beyond just the money, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's about being betrayed by someone they trusted, someone from within their own community. That kind of thing can turn a community against itself, create suspicion, breaks bonds, and many victims felt too ashamed or afraid to speak up, which just isolates them further.
Yeah. People might call it a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. And technically, maybe it fits one of those.
Right, the mechanics might fit. Early investors paid with new money, essentially. But you're right, for the victims, the label probably doesn't capture it. It was, as the sources say, something far more personal.
And she's still out there,
Uh,
unresolved.
as far as reports indicate, yes, still out there somewhere. The story hasn't concluded.
So, bringing this back to you, the listener,
Hmm.
what's the big takeaway here?
Well, it's a stark reminder, isn't it? How social trust and finances can get dangerously tangled. Maybe the real insight is how that close-knit community feel, usually a strength, can sometimes, paradoxically, make people more vulnerable if they let trust override basic checks.
So, the warning is clear. Always, always demand paperwork, get proof, don't just trust blindly, and be really, really wary of promises that seem too good to be true, especially if they pressure you to bypass normal procedures.
Indeed. And it leaves you with a really tough question, I think. How do you balance that natural, valuable community trust with essential personal due diligence, especially when people you know, people you respect, are endorsing something? And maybe even tougher, What does it take for a community to heal, to rebuild trust after something like this happens from within?